So there are two formulas that you do need to have memorized. I'm going to go ahead and circle them. And I'm going to put memorized next to it because I'm not going to give you the formulas.
What about on a quiz?
Nope. There aren't any quizzes. No. So compound interest, it can either be compounded yearly, it could be compounded monthly, it could be compounded daily, it could be compounded continuously. So that's the P, E to the RT, that's continuous. And remember at the very beginning of the unit when I talked about E, how when you have an exponential function, it hits at every single point. That's what an E does. For an exponential that's being compounded once a year, it only hits, every 365 days. Every month would be 12 times a year. But continuously means it's continuously compounding your money. So it's growing continuously.
So wait, so does that mean that like if you have a yearly one, then and I have like I'm due $50 the first year, and then by the second year I'm due $100. If it's yearly like the first one, then if you do it anywhere before the second year you have $50 due. But then if it's due on the continuous, that if I pay it halfway through the first year and the second year, I have to pay $75. Is that what it means?
Well, it renews once every year, so it stays constant that entire year, and then it re-ups every.
Yeah. So like the first one, if it stays constant the whole year,
then you could pay $50 that whole year.
Yeah. And
then it would renew at the very beginning of the following year.
But then the other one, if like it continued to grow, then maybe in January it would be I would be due 50, but in February I might be due 55.
No one, like if you buy something that has interest on it, no one does a continuous interest rate. Continuous interest rates are for when you're investing money.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's when you invest money and you're depositing money and it's growing, not for when you're buying something and they charge an interest rate. So the A represents how much money you attain at the end. The P represents the money that you're depositing. So that's like the dollar amount that you're putting into the bank, your principal rate, which is the very beginning. So maybe I deposit $10,000. That would be my P. My R represents my interest rate. My N represents the number of times it's compounded each year. So if I said yearly, then my N would be 1. If I said monthly, my N would be 12. If I said daily, my N would be 365. If I said bi-yearly, N would be 2. And there might be different ones. Do what?
Like, what did you say? So for like the number of...
N is like the number of times it's compounded each year. What if I said quarterly?
4.
Good. Yeah. So I think those are the only ones that you would see. And T represents the number of years. So
Is bi-yearly meaning twice a year or once every 2 years?
Twice a year.
Okay.
What is once every 2 years? Wait.
1/2.
No, but
No,
what's
like
it called?
I don't think that's even a thing.
Once every 2 years.
Yeah.
I thought bi-yearly
That you don't compound, like the longest amount of time it would be compounded would be yearly. And then continuous, the E stays the same, R is your interest rate, and T is your time in years. So the only things that you're plugging in are the P, the R, and the T. But the E stays in E because it is a constant. There isn't an N in the continuous function.
Yeah, I don't think I did that right.
So you can do everything in A, or the first one?
Mm-hmm. So number 1, it says how much would you have after 5 years. So I'm going to put a T next to that. If you invested $5,000, what letter does that go with? P. That's how much I invest. At a rate of 5.5%, what would that be? R. Compounded monthly. What does that mean? N equals 12. So I'm going to write my formula out first. And then I'm just going to plug it in the calculator. So get your calculators out because we do get to use them today.
Wait, on these, on the test, when we use this?
Yeah, you have to use your calculator on this lesson.
Well, that's what
For
I
5.5%, do we change it into a decimal?
Yes. So I'm going to say A equals 5,000, 1 plus 0.055. So make sure you change that to a decimal. You can move it a decimal over
Are we
twice.
putting that in our calculator, the A?
Yes.
But do we use X instead of A? Or are we allowed to use A?
Don't even put this in your calculator. Just start with the 5,000. Yeah.
In graphing or just?
No, just in your entry to the 12 times 5.
The 60th.
Yeah.
You
Why
gotta
is
put
mine
in
take so long
12.5.
to load every single
I
time?
just put in 60 or
So I want everyone to try typing this in, and the answer that you should get is
No.
6578. I want everyone to still do it. I just want you to check your answer. 6578.
Yes.
52.
Wow,
okay,
over
okay.
5
So
years you made
What decimal do you want?
no money.
Okay, but 5 years is really not a very long time in the grand scheme of things.
Well, like try $5 million, and then you'll actually start.
Yeah.
Because here's the deal with investing, and this is what I'm starting to learn, is like when you invest money, you don't want to look at it for 40 years. You don't want to. You're saving for your children's college fund or something. And if you leave it in there for 20 plus years or 30 plus years, it's gonna get a lot bigger.
But
That's what your retirement fund is doing too.
don't forget to put in deposits, or else the bank will think that you just forgot about it and they try to give it to the state.
Miss McKinley?
Yes.
So, that amount.
So how much would you have after 5 years if you invested $8,000 at a rate of 6% compounded continuously? So we're gonna circle our numbers.
This is the second one, right?
Hold up.
Use, like, one of each.
Is it?
No, I think-
Wait, what does compounded continuously mean?
That's the second equation.
Yes.
So what is the 5? My what?
T.
T? What is the 8,000?
8,000 is your P.
P. My 6% is my
What is
R.
R, and continuously means that I use the E, like it's the PERT. Call it the PERT equation.
Oh.
The calculator doesn't like the E.
So A equals, you're going to type in 8,000 E to the 0.06 times 5. And I'm going to put what you should get, and I want everyone to make sure that they get this in their calculator so they know how to type it in.
It doesn't like it without the. Do you have to put the A in there?
No.
Because I typed it in without.
If you type it in without the A and then multiply by 8,000, that will work too. Like if you do it in 2 steps.
It says it's
It didn't
not
work.
defined.
Mine
It says
did.
variable is not
Did you
defined.
put the E that's up here?
You need to do the E that is by the LN.
It's
Yeah.
like E to the X.
Don't just type in the letter E. It has to be the special E that's in the calculator.
Oh,
It's
okay.
special. I mean,
So it's like pretty big, right?
Mhm.
Okay, for the first
8,000.
What's the O?
E.
I'm trying, but.
You're not always solving for A. So let's read number 3 and see what we need to solve for, like what letter. Find the amount you would have to invest at 8.5% compounded quarterly in order to end up with 100,000 after 40 years. So I'm trying to find P. So P question mark.
This is
8.5 represents my 8.5% is my R. Compounded quarterly is my
N equals 4.
N equals 4. 100,000 is my
That's
A. Because that's how much I want to have at the end. So basically, how much do I need to invest if I want to end up with 100,000?
That's the question that we're asking.
And T would be 40 years. So let's set up our equation.
where P equals something. Is that what we want to do?
So we have 100,000 equals P 1 plus 0.085 over 4 to the 4 times 40. Now here's what I suggest. Typing in all of this in your calculator and then just taking 100,000 and dividing by that. So type the stuff that I have
So what did you suggest?
highlighted in green. Just type that in the calculator and tell me what you get.
This makes no sense. I don't understand how this has anything to do with
This is like the
'Cause it's
first practical
exponentials.
thing we've learned in
Are
this
things
class.
growing exponentially?
Oh.
Yeah. So
Yes.
money is growing
It's so
exponentially.
nice, man. I can see numbers actually instead of logs.
Oh, don't worry, you're gonna see a log.
I hate everything about this class.
So tell me what you get when you just type in the stuff I have highlighted.
Well, Miss McKinley, you are a speedy little one, okay?
28.92.
Some of us work a little slower.
2.8915.
Oh, I did that wrong number.
And then don't you divide that into 100,000?
Yep. So P equals.
Well, I got it right. But it's not.
Yeah, I was putting the wrong number.
It's 3,458. How did you do that?
How long will it take? Anytime that you see this, you're solving for the T. How long will it take? That's my T, and I don't know what it is. That's what I'm solving for. To double your investment. If you invest $6,000, what is that? My what?
That's your
P?
Hey,
That pays 8.25% interest. That's my what? R? Per year, compounded monthly. What is that?
That's
equals
N
12.
equals 12.
Good.
I'm on.
So I want you to try,
So good.
maybe. So I want you to try setting up your equation with everything that you know, and then just put a T in the place of where T should go, because that's what we're solving for. So try that really quickly.
If it's double your investment, are we putting 12,000 in or?
Is
Yes.
Nick Willie in top 10?
Yes.
He is actually really smart.
So A equals what? Stop talking.
Sorry.
So A equals what if I want to double my investment? 12,000. And P is 6,000.
So A is what you want, P is what you start out with. Give me how long that takes.
oh no.
Okay. These problems, how do I solve them? Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get T by itself.
Yes.
Oh, so do you bring it out in front?
So we will in a minute.
Okay.
But let's kind of let's work out. Let's try to basically
Would
You're
you
gonna
divide
base
by the
6,000.
6,000?
yes, I would. Let's divide by the 6,000 first, okay? So when I do that, I have what? 2 equals 1 plus 0.0825 over 12 to the 12t. And I really don't like all that stuff in parentheses, so let's just go ahead and put it in our calculator and get a number.
Where'd you get the 2 from?
Yeah.
I took 12,000 divided by, so I just divided each side by 6,000.
So what do you want us to plug into the calculator? The 2 equals?
Let's put the stuff that's in
How
parentheses.
many decimal points?
Let's just go 4 decimal places.
Okay, so that's like 1.0068.
6,9.
Yeah, it is 69. It's 1.0868.
0.08.
How many decimal places?
0857.
Is that not what you got?
Wait, let me type this in the calculator.
Okay.
Are
1.
you going to the 12th power or no? No.
Wait, I know why. Because it should be. Did y'all do that?
Yes.
Okay. I just wrote it funny.
Wait, did we write it wrong?
No.
You did it right.
Okay, 1 point what?
0069.
Okay. To the 12t.
Is that equal to 2?
That's equal to 2.
Okay.
Now,
What do you do?
now this is where you want to take the, so I've got an exponential equals a number, and I want to take the log of both sides, because I want that 12t to come out in front.
Do I write the T?
Yeah.
Do I just use the regular T?
No, you don't put a t in the calculator.
Okay.
Should we do the log of the right
So
side?
1.0856.
So which log would make more sense to do, the 2 or the 1.00?
Oh, you get rid of
Yeah.
That's an annoying number.
So let's do log base 1.0069 of 2 equals 12t. So in your calculator, you're going to do log, and then you're going to scroll up to your answer and hit enter, because I want it to be exact.
So, okay.
How do you do log?
It,
I was joking.
and then you just put 12, or do you put?
And then divide that by 12. Once you get your answer, divide that by 12.
So I'm just putting like a 1.
So it should be log base 10
2,
and
I'm
then.
so dumb.
Do we put
Yeah.
in an actual equals
Wait.
14?
I got
No.
8.4.
So here's what you should type in your calculator. Log base 1.0069 of 2
I thought you wanted us to do the
equal, don't even put equals. Just get a number for that. And then you'll divide by 12, and that's your t.
I got 30 point like.
I got it done.
8 1/4 years.
8 point
It's not done.
something.
How do I change that?
1.006.
Oh yeah, no. I did this with
8.4.
3.1. Okay.
I don't even have the 1.06.
So you should get 8.431 years, and I'm going to go around and check and see what you did in your calculator just to make sure we're on the same page.
What did we get?
So we get 11.454 years. Divide the p, ln each side, divide by r. The ln ones are a little bit easier because you're not having to do a funky base, but steps are the same.